What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Beach Boys album ranking. Today we are at number 3 out of 30. Apologies for such a long wait. It has been over a fucking year since the last one. I've been just mainly honestly working on my own music just because I've been really into that after getting like a Mac and shit and being able to record everything with mics. It's been a lot of fun, and been listening to a lot of Beach Boys to inspire me, but a lot of other music too. Just getting more into production and shit. Whatever. But you know what? Tonight, I don't know why. I was just thinking about my reviews and I was like, I really should get back into this shit because I've missed it. I just got really burnt out on it and I wanted to try other things. But I realized how important these top 3 albums are to me and a lot of other people, and the impact they had at the time and on the Beach Boys' career. And for my favorite band of all time, I think it's deserving for you guys and for myself to finish the series. So I really am excited to talk about these 3 records, 3 of their most important records. And yeah, so very glad to be back and hope you all are doing well. But today is number 3 out of 30, my third favorite, and in my opinion their third best album, released I think on August 31st, 1970. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sunflower. And this one is it's just good. It's just really fucking good, honestly. Like, if I had to give a simple, short explanation to this record, if you compare it to, Pet Sounds, Smile, the obvious top 2 contenders, you guys all know that. But, is it as good as those, or as ambitious, or as, experimental? No. But, or I should say, is it as ambitious or experimental as those 2? No, it isn't, but it's as good, I think, every bit. And I think as a rock and roll album, just a nice pop rock album, not some artsy, crazy, experimental shit. Not saying that what Brian Wilson did in 1966, 1967 isn't fucking incredible. Some people aren't into it. For some people, it's not what they want from the Beach Boys. So if you're actually a more casual Beach Boys fan, I think this is a great record that you'll really enjoy, because it's not very, very deep shit. Lyrically, it's very light. It's either about love, happiness, music, just very simple, basic pleasures, but I think it translates well. I think the mood of this album is very friendly. I think it's very welcoming, very easy on the ears. It's not very challenging. Some songs are. There's some moments here and there. But I just think it's done real well. So, if backstory back to when this record came out, 1970, the Beach Boys were at their lowest popularity of their entire career. They quit their contract with Capitol, or they quit Capitol after they fulfilled their contract. They released the album 2020 in 1969, which did okay. And then they released Breakaway, the single. I don't know which came first, to be honest, but they kind of charted, but they didn't make the impact that the Beach Boys would have hoped they did. And they were very low on money at that point, so they, playing a lot of gigs around that time, charity events, just to make money, because in reality they were... Brian said they were filing for bankruptcy. I don't know if that's true or not. A lot of shit goes into it, but anyway, around 1969 they start recording songs more as a group, started writing, and they had left Capitol, and at that point went to Warner Brothers Records, I think in 1969, 1970. So they were working on the proposed album, and I think they had one titled it was like Add Some Music, or the Failed Rock Group Revival were the proposed names, but they never got added to it. And then I think they rejected it, a couple of the songs, because they thought they can do better. So the 1969 Warner Brothers Beach Boys album we'll never get to hear, because it was rejected. But that may be what Reverberation is, if you guys have heard versions of that anywhere. I don't think it was a real proposed title for Sunflower, the unreleased version of Sunflower, but anyway, went off on a tangent for a little bit. They recorded a lot of songs for these sessions, and I think if you look in the album sleeve, you can see all the guys, because I don't know where they went. Where the fuck did they go? I'm gonna be honest, I completely forgot which studio they recorded this at. I think I would have known that, but it was basically at this time and for the rest of their career, one of the only moments where all 6 Beach Boys actively collaborated and helped each other out. You know, I'm not 100% sure with all the history behind the release. I just read up on it, but I've listened to this album a whole shit ton, and what I can say is that you can totally hear the involvement of every guy in the band, and even more than Pet Sounds or some of their other great records, this is a collaborative effort. This isn't Brian Wilson and his family making a, you know, musical masterpiece. It's the guys trying the best they can to make a good-ass album to prove they're still relevant, because at the time they really weren't. That's the sad, honest truth. But, yeah, all 6 of them wrote songs, co-wrote, they wrote with other people, they just have a lot of different influences, so it's a very fun listen. Lightweight, fun, easy listen, but there's some great shit on it, and I really, really enjoy it. And I'll just start with the album cover, I guess. This is the 1970 original reprise pressing. This one I think's warped. I have a different pressing that I play, and it's sad this one doesn't play, but it's okay. But cover-wise, you have all 6 of the guys just chilling out with their kids, man, and it's a very nice, peaceful image on a white background, cool colors. You know, it kind of just looks like generic 1970s promo, but I think it's very cute, and it represents the album well, and it doesn't try to outdo itself or look cool. It's just, this is like a different thing for us. In the back, you got the ingredients with the flour and all the notes, and they actually include all the technical notes of how it is recorded with the microphones and stuff. Very cool. And as I showed earlier, the sleeve with all the guys on it, wonderful. And yeah, I guess I don't want to ramble on forever about the history. You know, I will say it did not do good. Chart wise, I think it charted at like 160 something. It was their worst performing album to date, and it basically destroyed Brian's creative spirit he had for the band at the time for a while, until about 15 Big Ones and Love You when it came back. But this was the last Beach Boys album Brian actively was involved in as a main songwriter and producer until I think 15 Big Ones. So yeah, it's really special because it captures such a cool moment in the band where the stars aligned and all members were firing, you know, full force. But it also showcases, you know, like a one-of-a-kind moment. Also a lightning in the bottle moment, like their earlier work was. Comes together really well, and they never really recapture this. You know, they still made good shit after this. But in terms of a full collective band, I will say this is the best album the Beach Boys ever put together. Is it as reached the high, soaring, creative peaks of their earlier records I mentioned? Up to the listener. I don't think it hits as high, but does it deliver a great sonic experience that has a lot of different styles and instruments and genres? Yes, it's a great record no matter what, and depending on your taste in music and the Beach Boys music, I think it can appeal to a lot of people. So yeah, it did not perform well, and it was a disappointment for the record label and the band, but regardless of that, it's a great fucking record, and I'll just get into it. So song 1 starts with Slip On Through, written by Dennis Wilson. So this was his first album opener he ever wrote. It was primarily him. I don't think Brian may have helped on this one, I'm not sure, but I think it was mainly Dennis. Real fucking cool song. It's a really cool song. You know, you have the constant cowbell, just the instruments, very, very great rhythm going. I love the rhythm, I love Dennis's vocal, and I just, the vocal harmonies, fucking awesome. Cool song, very different from the emotional, you know, Young Love version of the Beach Boys in the earlier 60s. But I think it's cool because this was recorded in 1969, 1970, so it was right at the end of that era for the world and culture. So the sound is conveyed well in the song. Dennis does a good job. I really like the production of that one. And is it really anything too deep? Not particularly, like if you're just straight up looking at it, but one thing I love about the band in general, and specifically this record, is their production and arrangements are so fucking divine. They're so intricate. You can listen over and over again, even regardless of the song, if you enjoy the song or not. But just they always make their records sound great, and I think that even on some of the worst albums, it can elevate lesser songs into something more ambitious because the arrangements and productions are good. And this album has great songs, so it really boosts it too because there's just so much depth. So I compliment that song on it and the rest of them. The next one is written by Brian. Maybe his best effort on this album, in my opinion, called This Whole World. I think Slip On Through and This Whole World were released as A and B side single in 1970. I don't know if it charted or not. But This Whole World is fucking fantastic. Super, almost cheesy, lightweight bubblegum pop from a lyrical perspective. And the melody is just super happy. But musically, man, it's fucking ridiculous. In 2 minutes, Brian manages to jump 11 keys, like 11 key changes within 2 minutes and 13 seconds or whatever. Harmonies, arrangement, everything about it. The melody, unique, weird, but fucking impeccable. It sounds brilliant, like nothing else you've ever heard. Like a classical symphonic orchestra within 2 minutes. And it wasn't a hit. Nobody fucking knows this song. Nobody knows it. And it's sad that it never made an impact, but it is very quirky. I won't lie. This album's very quirky. It's very unusual. It's very fluffy, you know? You know what I'm saying? It's not like a very ballsy album, It's very, very fluffy, fun pop shit. But regardless of the mood, which some songs can make different moods, but regardless of the mood, the fucking sound of it is impeccable, and just the way the songs carry themselves, very memorable. It's very, very memorable shit. Like, I don't think it has the same raw energy and pure live passion that a lot of that era's sound did. Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, The Who. They had a much more full band kind of sound, man. A lot heavier, a lot ballsier, as I said. The Beach Boys, very, very fluffy, lightweight, happy-go-lucky sound, man. But I think if you look into the music and you just listen to what the soundscape they create, it's fucking remarkable. It's remarkable. I've never heard anybody else do it. So I give them very high props for that, and This Whole World is perfect. I think the happiness of the lyrics elevates it to another level too, which is real cool. And it kind of sounds like it could be in a really cool commercial, man. I'd imagine this shit in some 80s commercial or something, like retro-ass commercial. I would love to hear that there. Good job, Brian. Great fucking song. Next one was written by Brian, Mike Love, and Joe Knott. I don't know who Joe Knott is, but Add Some Music to Your Day. It was the lead single from the album. It charted at like 64 or something. It's a good song in my opinion. It's better for the production and arrangement and weaker as a song. It isn't my favorite song to sing along to because there isn't really like a memorable standout chorus. Great melody, it sounds great, and it's fun, it's very, very chill, easy to listen to. And I think the harmonies are brilliant, but I will say, maybe the melody doesn't go as many places as I would like it to for me personally. But let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about this record in general. Do you think it's overrated? Do you think it's underrated? Perfectly rated? What are your thoughts, man? Just if you grew up with it, if you listened to it when it came out, I'd be curious to hear it. Oh, but Add Some Music to Your Day is a good track. Definitely, probably one of my lower ranked on the album, but it's just as good as anything else musically. It's brilliant arrangement and good one. Next one is written by Dennis. Again, Got to Know the Woman, a very high energy, just straight up rock and roll song with a gospel harmony background, which is fucking great. It's not really stylistically my thing, but I think it's a great fucking song. It's one of my favorite Dennis vocals. I think he's very, very raw and just has fun here. I love the fucking backing vocals, the combination of the gospel singers that Dennis commonly used throughout his entire career. On his album Pacific Ocean Blue, he loved using gospel. It was one of his favorite things. So you got to see hints of it here much earlier in the sound, and it's great, works real great, and the combination, as I said, of the Beach Boys with the gospel singers makes a very, very good job. And I don't remember names, but if anybody does, to give credit to them in the comments, because they do a great job. The guest musicians all over this record. Good song, man. Deirdre is the next one, written by Bruce, credited to Brian as well, but is mainly Bruce's song. Fucking beautiful, brilliant pop song. Probably my favorite from Bruce. He didn't write too much for the band, considering how much space he's had in the band for so many years, and the position he's filled. He hasn't really written too much, but I guess the same could be said for Mike, Carl, Al. They weren't primary writers as much as Brian and Dennis were, but regardless, all of them have written great songs during their career. And Deirdre is a fucking great one. The intro, the harmonies, the really creepy harmonies, were sampled in Earthbound on the SNES. So if you guys are into that game, the whole Mother trilogy. Fun fact, very cool shit, cool song. The last song on side A is It's About Time, written by Dennis Allen Jardine and Bob Birchman. I don't know who that is, and if you guys do know who that is, definitely let me know. But it's called It's About Time, and this one's really cool. Sang by Carl. It's kind of reflecting on the Beach Boys' career as popular artists. The world was changing against them. They were falling out of favor. So they were trying to basically say, we have something to say, but we're having a hard time saying it, so fuck it, we're just gonna make a song about exactly that. And it's great, man. I really, really like this one. They played it live a lot during that time. Really cool shit, man. I'll say that. And I think Dennis did a good job on it. I love the harmonies, I love the melody, I love the instruments, the drums and everything, percussion wise. Great shit. Awesome. Side 2 starts with another song written by Bruce Johnston, Tears in the Morning. This is a very, very romantic, poppy, kind of classical, waltzy-ish song. It's not really a waltz, but just if you know the sound of what I'm trying to describe the sound as. Very cool. Very, very cool. The instrumentation, the horns and everything, just a very beautiful arrangement. Bruce did a great-ass job. Very pretty song. I like this one a lot. I really like it. Followed up by possibly the best song on the record. One of the earliest examples of chillwave and dream pop, 20 years before it got big. All I Want to Do, written by Brian Wilson and Mike Love. Probably one of their best collaborations, There's points to make about Mike Love as a musician, and while I do agree, it's surprising the lack of innovation he made throughout their career as an artist. I can't deny that in the first 10 or 15 years of the Beach Boys' career, Brian and Mike had a very honest and very easy songwriting partnership that showed from their very first album all the way to, even the early 80s, man. And the mid 80s, I'd say. But All I Want to Do is probably the pinnacle of that, and it's a very great group effort. Brian wrote the track, the music, back in 1968, during the 2020 sessions, 68 or 69. And it's a very cool demo, very dreamy, just instrumental demo of the chords without the melody. And I think later that year, or 1969, Mike and Brian met up, brought the song up. Mike and Brian worked on the melody together, and Mike wrote all the lyrics, and it just came together really well. And they re-recorded it. Carl produced it, so the reason it has the real dreamy sound it does. Thank you, Carl Wilson, the unsung hero of that fucking band. Kept them together and was probably the heart of this album, my man. Like, he didn't write any songs, he didn't have any solo written songs on this album, but he carries the album vocally for sure. He features on so many tracks on this record, and his skills as a songwriter and arranger, well, I don't know about arranger, probably, I'm not too sure about that, but definitely producer and just active musician is very underrated. He's very great ear. The fact that the three brothers were so fucking talented it's a testament to just the talent that was there, man. And All I Want to Do, amazing song, just brilliant shit. Love this one. Next we have Forever, written by Dennis Wilson and Greg Jacobson. This was a collaboration. written I think around 1969, 1970. Commonly seen as Dennis's best song. It's honestly a beautiful, brilliant fucking song. Uh, it's like the wedding song. It's very beautiful. It's just about love lasting forever. Very sweet, very touching, beautiful song, beautiful harmonies, beautiful melody. Love this one, and this is the fucking good version of it. If you guys remember my number 30 Summer in Paradise review, I talked about John Stamos' version of Forever. We all know how much that sucks. If you guys want to hear the song, man, listen to the version on Sunflower. It's great. Followed up by probably the prettiest song on the album, written by Brian, Carl, and Al. I think it was mainly Brian's song, but I think the other guys helped collaborate with production and things like that. God Only Knows too. It's beautiful. It's fucking a beautiful song. Probably my favorite arranged song on the record in terms of vocal harmonies and the instrumentation. The strings, the percussion is the really tight percussion, whatever it is. It just sounds beautiful, and the melody is beautiful. Carl's vocal is just pure and sounds great. Amazing song, man. Next is followed up by a song written by Al with help from Brian on the production and arrangement. Inspired by what are they called? Kingston Trio. Al was really into the Kingston Trio, so they had a song called something fruits, strawberries and raspberries or something. Al kind of took the melody from that, the chords and melody, and kind of changed it up into his own thing, with the Spanish-speaking background verses and just really cool production elements. Honestly, man, I'm losing it. Sorry. At My Window is the song. If I never said the song title, it's called At My Window. But truly, it's a great fucking tune, man. It's a cute little tune. Brian and Al's vocals are great. Bruce has the main vocal, but I think Al and Brian come in later at some point. I don't know. Honestly, a very underrated track in terms of the production. It's probably my favorite on the album, besides All I Want to Do, just because it's so creative, man. The chirping, it's so progressive, really cool ass shit. And my favorite part of the record is the last song. They finish off with a fucking progressive masterpiece called Cool Cool Water. Cool Cool Water took shape in the Smile sessions back in 1967 as Love to Say Dada, which was an instrumental track. And then during the Wild Honey sessions, they started a song called Cool Cool Water that took influence from the Love to Say Dada. And then on this record, they brought it all together with influences from both 1967, and then they added another verse on this record in 1970. And it comes together as a 5.5 minute long textural fucking experience. Like, it's not so much a song as it is a mantra. Like, just their chants. Yeah, the very last part when it's just Brian and Mike switching off the melody with the synth, the water droplet synth. It's just very, very beautiful and unique. And this is a great collaboration between Brian and Mike. You know, as I said, this album they already co-wrote Add Some Music to Your Day, All I Want to Do, and Cool Cool Water, which had gone back a couple years. So it was really a tour de force of everybody, man. Great fucking shit. So if you guys haven't heard Cool Cool Water, check it out. Cool ass shit. Wear headphones, man. Wear headphones and go on a walk or go to the beach at night or something. Like, really, really unique shit. And the album comes in, I think, at 35 minutes, 36 minutes. So it's not too long, but for what they do and what they present at the time in music, or at the time in music, what they did to create their own image and sound, it fucking paid off. I mean, it didn't pay off for them financially, but it paid off in terms of artistic reward. They really produced a great record. And, you know, real quick, I think the song turned off. I was playing it on my speaker, so I'm gonna give that another try. So we have music in the background. I apologize about that. I guess my internet stopped working. Whenever it decides to turn back on. Alright, man. Anyway, back to the record. So, that's all the songs, man. There's I think 11 of them, and if I gotta be completely honest, a fucking grade A amazing record. I'd put this up there with any of my favorite records. You know, I don't listen to it as much as Pet Sounds or Smile or maybe even Love You, because I don't think the songs are my style of just, weird artsy pop as Brian was doing, earlier and later on. But as a just musical experience, all of the songs are great. They all have great melodies, great production, great harmonies, great presentation, and they all flow together really well. I think there's not one single weak point on this record whatsoever, and I think it came out really great. And just let me know your guys' thoughts on this record in the comments below, because it is a divisive album, surprisingly. I think a lot of modern listeners either really, really fucking love it, truly appreciate it, have some comments on it and reservations, which I understand. There's definitely comments to be said about its ambition versus the emotional tug of your heartstrings feelings that Pet Sounds gives you. This doesn't give you that, but it definitely gives you a very happy feeling. So I can definitely understand comments on that people being made, and obviously others don't like it. But the cool thing about this community and this band is there's so many different eras of music with good, bad, whatever, and that's the magical thing. Is the Beach Boys catalog represents just human existence. We're not perfect, not all the time, man. And I think as you see their later albums fall in and out of good quality, you get to see where the band members were in their personal lives and, what they were going through. And I think this one represents a real good time for them. And I think it shows the fact that all 6 of them were together on one album for the fucking last time until I think 1980, barely, but this was the pinnacle of this group as a collective whole, in my opinion. And I think it's a great effort. And for all of the unreleased songs that were recorded during the Sunflower and Surf's Up sessions that were released on the Feel Flows box set, a lot of amazing shit. And if you guys haven't listened, I just go on the Feel Flows box set, and there's a whole lot of cool stuff written by all the members during that time. A lot of great shit. My Solution, I'll shout it out, is one written by Brian on Halloween. Probably the spookiest shit they ever made. Amazing. One of my favorite Beach Boys songs ever. It's awesome. What's it called? My Solution. Check it out, guys. Also, Games 2 Can Play, which was going to be included on Adult Child years later, which wasn't. There's a lot of songs. I'm going to forget about half of them, but definitely check it out. And then obviously Surf's Up, the album that came the year after this, I covered in video ranking number 5. So definitely these are kind of seen as partner records, Surf's Up and Sunflower. So people usually put one over the other, and it's hard because this record to me conveys a mood of such great fucking happiness and joy, while Surf's Up conveys a mood of sadness, melancholy, and depression. It's very dark, very, very fucking dark, and gets deep into your emotions, And this one does in a more positive way. I think it's just as easy to relate to as a human being as Surf's Up's mood is, that album's mood. But I do think that this one just gives a very different feeling. So, it's a pair. You listen to one when you're in a certain mood. But for me, this one actually, as a complete whole of good songs, definitely superior to Surf's Up in my opinion. And from the early 70s era, from this album, Surf's Up, Carl and the Passions, and Holland, is easily the best one from that era, and their best album, best post Pet Sounds record in my opinion. So if you guys haven't heard it, definitely check it out. I appreciate you all watching this video, and I can't wait to get to the top 2, my 2 favorite albums of all time, and my favorite musical experiences of all time. You guys are just gonna have to see which one I prefer, but couple weeks, couple months, I really hope I stay on it, which I hope I keep the same motivation. But this community and this band and this music is the reason why I do these reviews. and bringing the community together to talk about this amazing body of work that these 6 guys created back in the 60s and 70s. It's awesome. We just got to keep the music alive, you know? So, Sunflower, I'd give it a 10 out of 10 in terms of just quality record. Great shit, love it. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I cannot wait to see you guys in the next review. I hope you all are doing well. Good night.